Hi friends, welcome to my channel and the latest Total Tarot magazine. And it doesn't seem 5 minutes since we had the last one, but the last one actually came late, which is why this one seems to be early. It's not actually, I think there was a problem the last issue for some reason on the posting. But not to worry, we have the latest one here, which is part 44. Let's get it out of the bag. 44 and 45, and has the Tarot of the New Vision, Major and Minor. So we have the tarot deck, tuck box, our two latest ones from Art Nouveau, the Golden Art Nouveau. So these are the next two pages, which is the Swords and the Pentacles. Pentacles looks very stern, very serious. And yeah, the Swords, he looks well ready to fight. That expression on his face is quite telling, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful cards. Okay, what we also have within this package is the Starman Tarot. Now this is if you opted into the enhanced version of the collection. You get the Starman Tarot, and here it is. I think it's all here as well, by the looks of it. Not gilded. Now, in all honesty, I actually have the Starman Tarot, but I can't lay my hands on it anywhere. I don't know where to put it somewhere. But it's beautiful. It's like a two-part box. And the reason that I can't find it, I think, is because I just put it away. After trying to use it for a while, I found it so busy, I couldn't use it at the time. And that was years ago. So I haven't touched it since. And as a result of that, I don't know where it is. So, yeah, I can't even remember what came with it. I can't remember if there was a big book that came with it, or I just can't remember, but at some point I will find it. And when I do, I'll share it alongside this one just for a comparison. So this is David Angelis, inspired by the artworks he actually created for David Bowie. So yeah. And if I go, they're quite large cards actually, but if I go through this, let's put this rest of it to one side for a sec. I think you'll see what I mean. It is a complicated deck, I would say. So the Fool is a sacred clown, and we've got esoteric symbols on there as well. Looks like graffiti at the back, and this looks like traps. Why? Yeah, I suppose I get it. And there's a door there as well between the legs. Cardstock's quite nice. Got a snap to it. These are the backs. We have the Starman, which is Bowie himself as the Starman. Lots of energy going on there. So tell me, what card is this? If you're quite new to tarot, how are you going to know what card you're looking at? Is this the Magician? Well, yes, it's the Magician because it's number 1. And I do believe David Bowie to be a magician. I mean, here we've got the Tree of Life glyph, the High Priestess, very verdant. Is this sound waves? We have what looks like a golden or a shiny sword there, snake, wings. It's just, yeah, macabre. We've got a figure here. Absolutely filled to the brim that your eye doesn't really know where to rest, to be fair. And yeah, and I just found it ultra confusing. The Empress, the Emperor. And we've got this sort of figure in a cave here. Again, we've got these symbols. Hierophant. Have you got this deck? Has anyone got this deck and actually worked with it? I've been able to work with it. Maybe I could now. You know, maybe I'm a bit further along in my journey to be able to work with this deck, but I don't think it's something that's going to come easy. Chariot. But now that I'm so more, you know, more familiar with Thoth and that sort of system, I might open these cards up a little bit more for me. But this is no beginner's deck, not by any stretch of the imagination is this a beginner's deck. You need to really know your systems, I think, to be able to use it. I mean, here 9, the alien. Well, does that refer to The Man Who Fell to Earth? You know, the film that Bowie was in? Possibly. 9 is normally the Hermit. 10, the Wheel. So you can see some of the cards have actually been, had a name change. Bowie's peeking through there and there. Justice. Head and the Heart. Colours are beautiful actually in this deck. Hanged Man. And Death. And there's a key on Death. Temperance. We seem to have letters on there as well. The Devil. Now I thought they would have used the labyrinth for that in the film The Labyrinth for the Devil. That would have been quite, yeah, quite cool. But maybe there's rights to the images of that film. Maybe that's why I couldn't use them. The Tower. And the Star. The Moon. The Sun. Judgment. And the World. So it's the major arcana. So we start off here with the Cups. The Ace, we've got a lotus flower as well as the cup. We've got some, again, sacred geometry. There's a lot of sacred geometry in these cards. The colours are beautiful, so vibrant. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And the Princess. So we're actually following a Thoth system here. Princess, Prince, Stone Circle, I think. Maybe. The Queen. Looks like I've got the ibis bird here. That must be an Egyptian god. But why is an Egyptian god kneeling? I've got a turntable there. And the King. So that's strange because that isn't actually the Thoth system, although for some reason we've got the princess instead of the page. But the rest is like the Rider-Waite-Smith system. Now King of Cups is taken off. So although I mean, it's gorgeous imagery, it absolutely is. I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that it's beautiful. But it's not an easy read. I mean, you can see this Ace of Pentacles. You can actually see some nods to the Rider-Waite-Smith, definitely. I mean, Two of Pentacles were balancing here. Yeah, I mean, if you know your Rider-Waite-Smith well, then I think you could actually transition, but is it worth the deep dive this deck needs? That's the question, I think. And I think this is really a deep dive deck. I don't think it's an easy read. Five of Pentacles. 6. 7. 8. 9. Nice to see the bunny rabbit there. The 10. Yeah, it seems to have got a few sort of alien type forms in here as well. Princess. The prince instead of the knight. That's nice. Reminds me a little bit of Rorik, you know, all this writing here. It does remind me a bit of the Rorik Tarot. Another deep dive deck, that one. Queen. And the king. Onto the ones. Very fiery card, the ace. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Princess. Prince. Queen. Get the sunflower. Is there a cat in there? There's the cat. Glad to see it. And the king. That's interesting. Fetus. 2 fetuses. Okay, Ace of Swords. Two. Definitely in 2 minds. 3. at least we haven't got a heart pierced, have we, in this one? So for the Four of Swords, we've got David Bowie in meditation pose. Five. A 6. Seven. The 8. Nine. The 10. The Princess. Prince. Queen. And the King. Okay, so those are the cards. They are absolutely gorgeous. They are absolutely vibrant. I like the fact they're borderless. That's brilliant. And actually, you know, I'm thankful that I've got another chance to look at this deck because, as I said, when I first had this deck, I bought it because of David Bowie, actually, because I am a huge fan of all of his work, even the strange stuff, and his films, even the strange ones. And I suppose you could expect nothing less than a strange sort of deck with David Bowie's blessing. It would have to be something completely different, wouldn't it? But I can see Rider-Waite-Smith in here. I can. But like I said before, this is no way a beginner's deck. This is when you're a bit further along in your journey, I think. I think you need to be ready for this deck. Anyway, let's have a look at the rest of the offering this month. So the deck this time is Tarot of the New Vision, and I think I said it in my last video, or the last Total Tarot magazine video, that I actually already have this deck, and I do. So this is the version I have, which is the kit version, and what I've read of the guidebook of this is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let's just take cards out. So of course it's still Lo Scarabeo. I just wondered how the cards line up. Actually, I think they're exactly the same. Yeah. There is a little bit of a difference. Okay, let's take them out first. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I can see that the font is different, and I can see we haven't got the 4 languages around the outside. Actually, there's 1, 2 languages. Yeah, I don't know. Is that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, 4 languages. Whereas on the Total Tarot version, there's none of that. Okay. Let's just open them up, shall we? So, Tarot of the New Vision, Total Tarot magazine version, on the back has this motif. Knight of Cups. Very pretty. On the mass market kit edition, we've got a totally different back. It's like a radiant sun figure. So that is different. You see, okay, but apart from that, I think they're exactly the same. So this is looking at the tarot deck completely differently. We're looking at it from behind. Now, did not we do this in the vice versa tarot? Yes, I think we did. So now I've ascertained these are the same apart from the typeface. It's turning round. What we could do is look at the vice versa tarot next to this one, because they've got the same premise really, haven't they? Unless I'm completely mistaken. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So we had the vice versa tarot in issues 12 and 13, and it's a completely different art style, whereas this one is more like a Rider-Waite-Smith. So in the first, what was the second maiden, was it parts 2 and 3, we had the Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, which is as close to the Rider-Waite-Smith as we've got. So hopefully I don't get all confused here. Right, so the 3 decks side by side, just for my own curiosity. All of them are from our Total Tarot magazine. Now I have got the large version of the Vice Versa Tarot, another one I've had for a long time. And the nice thing about that version is it's borderless. So it's a shame they're not all borderless, because I do like a borderless deck. And this is the book that comes with it. It's quite a nice book, massive pictures in there, really good. This side, that side. So what the Vice Versa Tarot did was actually look at it right way and then the other way. Right, so let's have a look then. So that way, and then it can get confusing, and then that way. So we've even got a nighttime scene on the Vice Versa, whereas we've got the daytime scene on the Tarot of the New Vision. So it's different that way. Okay. So we have the Magician that way, and then the Magician that way. Again, a night scene. So it looks like that's the way that it's being perceived, as in we have a different time of day. Let's zoom in a bit. Me not looking at the camera and just looking at the cards. I'm sorry. Okay. But I think you can get where I'm going. Interesting, we've got a monkey here. Trickster. It does say about that in the large book, which is really interesting. So in the Magician, the divine monkey, it throws a shade of ambiguity. The monkey hiding behind the Magician and pulling at a fold in his cloak to get his attention. The monkey in Christian symbolism is the human being trying to imitate his creator. In ancient Egypt, however, this animal was linked to the knowledge of Thoth, the magician god frequently represented with a baboon head. The lewd and argumentative god Baba was also represented with a monkey. Basically, the monkey we see behind our magician could indicate 2 opposing tendencies present in us all. On one hand, our desire for spiritual elevation through virtuous practice, and on the other, our tendency to give in to our lowest instincts. Do you see how good this book is? It's phenomenal. So much attention to detail. And when I get to the magazines, I think you'll see why I prefer the kit version. Okay, so let's go on to the High Priestess. So, this is how we normally see her. This is seeing her reversed with her acolytes. And then when we turn this one around, what do we get? It's quite similar really, isn't it? It's just, like I say, it's a different colour palette. But yeah, it does add depth, I think, to the meanings of the cards. So the Empress, a very young one there. Looks more like this one, doesn't it? And then reversed. So that's a nice touch. Emperor. So we've got the back of the throne here and the back of the throne there. It's interesting how different artists interpret these cards, isn't it? So the front, the back, the front, the back. Isn't it interesting we've got the devil figure? Vice versa tarot. And here we have some sort of a god. I think that's Heracles. I think that's Heracles wearing the lion's pelt. Anyway. Just lately I've really been getting into reading up on mythology and the Olympians and the Titans and all the gods and goddesses. It's been amazing. I'm reading some really good books at the minute. It's quite Egyptian, isn't it? The Ankh. I think I quite like this one in relation to the Radiant Wise, but I quite like it because you can actually see echoes here of the original, whereas in this one it's gone a little bit its own way, really. Well, there's definitely some mythology in this deck. Doesn't really seem much different, does it, this one? The lion and the eagle. Figure walking away there. Okay, so there's the majors. Got the minors. I like that. I don't know. Do you think, is it giving you very much more than the original? Is it different enough that it actually enhances the meaning of the card? Because at the moment, as I'm going through it, I think some of them do, but some of them just are not that far removed to make much of a difference. Interesting how on the Radiant Wise we've got Roman numerals, and then on the Tarot of the New Vision, the Arabic. That's good. See, to my mind, I think you can probably tell these are the ones I prefer. These vice versa tarot. I definitely prefer this deck. I think it veers away enough to make a difference. Let's have a look at the gold cards then. To be fair to this deck, it actually enhances it more with the guidebook and the explanation in the guidebook, especially when it talks about the little elements that are in the card. So if we look at the Knave of Cups here, as it's been renamed in this deck, as opposed to the Page, look at the guide. It talks about this configuration of shells here. A certain number of shells not found in the older version of the card are arranged into a six-pointed star. They represent an idea put into practice. So they're saying that the fish is the new idea. It symbolises an idea that comes into a person's mind. And this six-pointed star represents that same idea, but actually now put it into practice, trying it out. This question doesn't seem to have an answer, but we have to reflect on the fact that any human work has its origins in either individual or collective necessity, or in nature. I mean, how often does nature inspire us, to create? So I think this is where the kit actually really wins out. I think I've laboured that point. I mean, I like the fact that this deck has kept, like I said, it's kept the same sort of stylised artwork. This one's gone completely different way, but then I think it's got some really good meanings in that. but this just doesn't veer too far away from the original for you actually to not being able to identify the card. We've got Noah's Ark up there. So in some it just seems okay. Yeah, we just see the back of the chair, you know, like this one. You know, it doesn't really offer much, I don't think. And we've got sea in the background here and sheep in the background on that one. He's not aware of what's going on behind. So that could give a different meaning to it, couldn't it, if you were just looking at it intuitively. I mean, without the guidebook, I don't know if this deck would be worth it. Because it's, I don't know, the images we're familiar with, but what's it giving us here that is enhancing the deck? Is my question. It's only when you go, I'm going to say it again, it's only when you go to that guidebook that you realise why things have been chosen and why it makes sense. You know, I've cited a couple of examples from the book. We will have a look obviously in the Total Tarot magazine and see if we get anything else from it, but I've got a feeling we won't, but I could be wrong. So let's not prejudge. Bird that's flown there. So the guidebook for the Vice Versa Tarot hasn't really got as much information on each card as it has in the Tarot of the New Visions. So for instance, I was just looking at this Nine of Wands here, and it says this is the back side of the card, so this is the front side. brawny soldier stands triumphant, gripping his great battle staff. And then that side, we see the soldier's reward now. The purpose and fulfillment of his quest. A woman beckons him to enter the dark cave with her. She is the same woman who dances with the satyr. I can never say that word. Satyr. In the Four of Wands. So, the staves the soldier has collected are proof of her of his prowess, and he has come to claim his prize. And then we go on to the divinatory meaning. So that's as much as we get for the minors, and we get quite a bit actually for the major. So that side, and this side. So we do get quite a lot of information, as I said, in the majors for the vice versa tarot. Anyway, I think it gives a little bit more storytelling to the deck. But I think each in its own way is worth diving into and exploring. I've got fire in there. They're quite slippery, these cards. Okay, Knight of Wands. Completely different feel, isn't it? And the vice versa. We've got the birds in both of these. Different feel altogether for the 9. Still entrapped. I like this one, the fact that the knight isn't even there. Okay, so that's the 3 decks side by side, showing the front side and the reverse side of the deck. I don't know which one I prefer, actually. I think they've both got the merits. But let's have a little look now at the magazines and see how much information we get for this new Tarot of the New Vision. Okay, so we have a tote box for the deck, as usual. That's nice. Hearts 44 and 45. And as usual, I cannot get it all on the screen, so bear with me while I show you the magazines as best I can. Alright, so part 44, collect Tarot of the New Vision. So we get the major arcana cards in this one, and the Fool on the front cover. We have a contents page, and then modifying tarot spreads. So it's the second part of a series. So further useful techniques for altering pre-existing spread layouts to enhance tarot readings. Keep it simple. Don't be too ambitious when you start modifying spread. It's not good practice to transform a 3-card spread into a 20-card one. We've got Tarot of the White Cats there. Adapting mid-reading. So if the reader or the querent wants to study an issue that's come up in the reading a little bit deeper, then we could use some cards to actually investigate that. So again, we've got another image from Tarot of the White Cats, the 6 of Swords. It's all about the journey, making changes and seeking out new possibilities. Remember to follow the signs. Okay, avoiding pitfalls, adding too many cards, looking for validation. Okay, so just going over and over till you get the answer that you actually want, I would imagine that means. Learning to modify, so favourite spreads, elimination. That's weird. Select any spread with 4 or more cards and remove 2 of its positions at random. How do these changes influence the reading, and do the changes complicate or improve the reading experience? Okay, there's a focus card, a combination, dividing spreads. This is it looks a little bit like the Celtic cross, but it's been altered a little bit. So how have they altered that? So they've made this into a wheel, this into a cross, and then we've got the tower. So what we would normally have, we'd have this in the centre here. Yeah, they've completely modified the Celtic cross there, so that'll be an interesting read. Anyway, card in focus, 8 of Pentacles, essential meaning, work and habit. Create to live and live to create, gratifying endeavour. And then keywords, and then the symbols. I mean, here it says Masonic symbols. Along with the hammer, the bench and the apron worn by the man are all symbols of the Masons, but it doesn't go any deeper into that, so you'd have to do some further research to find out why that is so, but it is so, actually. Anyway, that's further study if that's what you want to do. Tarot's meanings in different themes, so your personal life, divination, psyche and soul. What the card shows us, and then examples from other decks. We've got questions we can ask of the card. What do you love doing? What is the best job you ever had? Well, some of these are quite useful questions to journal with, or just to play the cards. Anyway, the lesson of the card, correlation. So here we go with the Golden Dawn. So it's the number 8. The Sephiroth is Hod. Element of Earth. Planet is the Sun, and the sign is Virgo. And it's called the Lord of Prudence. You'll find that in the Golden Dawn system. We've got the Worth, Tarot of the Angels, and Klimt. Traditional meanings upright and reversed, and then some, what have we got here? Los Scarabeo, Pagan, Fae, Runic, Shaman, Dark Grimoire, 78 Doors, and Nefertatis. So we have had the 78 Doors, and it says commitment to hard work, and we've got someone having a tattoo. And someone with a tattooed head. Okay. So those are decks to come. We're getting the Pagan Tarot in 54 and 55, the Runic in 48 and 49, the Shaman or Shaman in 60 and 61. Decks to look forward to. We have a spread. So New Vision spread 1. So this will be a 2-part, and so we have a spread based on the deck. So the New Vision allows us to examine events from an entirely new perspective, reveals ideas for previously unexplored courses of action. 5 cards, just using the majors, and this is the layout. Let's go back doing the spread. And then the position. So the first card is the root of the problem. Second, the obstacle. 3, 4 and 5 possible courses of action. Position and meaning, contextualising it. Okay. Deck library, Tarot of the New Vision. Okay, major arcana. So this is as much information as we're getting, as usual. Okay, let's have a little look at the star. So in the magazine it says, well, it's the stars. Optimism, grace, achieved desires. Expect a creative and satisfying time ahead. Write down your ideas. Thanks to someone's advice, a dark phase will come to an end. Kindness will be the key to this problem. And we see here someone walking away. A flaming torch on the Ace of Wands maybe, and a star on the ground. So let's have a look what it says in the kit version. So as you can see, we've got, wow, we've got 2 pages. So I don't think I'm going to go through all 2 pages, but well, okay. So the first paragraph explains what's on the card, and it talks about what's on the other side of the card. Conversely, it talks about the bird and the tree that we see in the usual version. So, and what those mean. So, about the mythology and biblical symbolism there. Then we go on to this card, and it says the 8-pointed star drawn on the ground, along with the flaming torch in its centre, suggests the immortality of life and that spiritual regeneration comes in cycles, a virtue of superior grace. A star identical to this one exists in the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, marking the spot where Jesus was born. In its centre shines an everlasting candle. The 8-pointed star is also the hieroglyphic for Ishtar, or Venus, the goddess of love in Mesopotamian mythology, who appears in different guises in the myths of many people. One of these is Siduri, the young maiden who in Gilgamesh's epic guards the garden of the gods. And then it talks a bit about that myth. Then we go, a wanderer among the stars. The pilgrim we see in the background is the Gnostic searching for answers to life's questions. The maiden represents the naked truth he's looking for, as that which he might not and might not want to see. Enjoyment, love, procreating, the essence of common existence. This is suggested by the anagram of the number 17. Rearranged, the Roman numerals form a Latin word, V1X1, V1X1, which means I have lived. This, it goes on and on and on, and then it goes the main meanings, which are, there are good chances of success. You can expect a creative and satisfying time ahead in every part of your life. You must put your ideas laid down on paper and make the most of favourable premonitions. So that's what we've got here. In this little write-up. Thanks to someone's advice, a dark phase will come to an end. Goodness and kindness will be the key to this problem. So basically what this has taken is that little bit there. And what you get in this kit is 2 pages. So if you wanted to go a lot deeper into the card, then you can see the difference there. Obviously, I'm not encouraging you to buy the kit, it's up to you. But I just thought I'd show you the difference because I'm really impressed with this book. We do go a little bit more into the background to the deck here on the Tarot Deck Library. Unlocking the deck, reading the symbols, and there's a tip. And then we have the minor arcana, and again we've got just a tiny little bit of information on each card. So 3 of Wands, resourcefulness, exploration, gather your energy, find allies, then take action. Success will be equal to effort. So in the book, admittedly there's a lot less for the minors. So the 3 here, it says be careful when you get your project ready, gather your energy, find alliances, then find allies, and then take action. Your success will be equal to the effort you put into it, which is that there, and then interesting new prospects lie ahead. There isn't an awful lot more actually in the write-up for the meaning. The meanings seem to be the same. So what this Total Tarot has done is actually just given you the basic meanings that's been taken from the large book. Here it tells you what everything represents. So the caravan, so these wagons here, represents a project, an idea, an ambition involving many other people. Caravan is at the bottom of the hill and about to go up the steep path to the top of the mountain. This means that the journey will be rough and that the destination is a long way off. So I just think it really enhances the deck. So yeah, that's my opinion. We've got a visual reference to the major arcana. Then we've got practice makes perfect, where to go in the magazine to practice, and then we've got the teaser on the back of the next issue and what's in there. So we have the next issue here, which is 45. So we have a Knight of Cups on the front there, and also in the book it explains that this woman here is a temptress, and yeah, these are an opportunity maybe. It's really good though. I keep saying it, it's really good, it's good. Okay, contents. Comparative readings 1. By comparing the same card from different decks, we can uncover new and interesting information. If you watch any of my videos, the main thing that I do is compare and contrast decks. I just love to do it. I mean, I've even done it at the beginning of this one, haven't I, with the Radiant Wise, the Vice Versa, and the New Vision. That's exactly what I did. And to me, it just helps me. So, oh, and we did the Starman. But yeah, it really helps to flesh out what I'm learning. So here we've got a few things to guide you into how to examine different decks. So how are the different, the differences in different images within decks? Does that make sense? What I do. Anyway, how are the cards are alike? In what way? Characters, symbols, colours, and how are they different? So we're getting the Fade Tarot, but it doesn't tell us when, and that looks gorgeous, doesn't it? Okay. Stages of the reading. So we got the reader approaches the tarot reading in the conventional way, or recreates the same spread using equivalent cards taken from another deck. So it's actually doing it within a reading. Okay. We've got an Epic Tarot coming as well. It looks good. Doesn't say when. What else? How to compare cards. So some more tips on how to do that. The benefits of doing it, and the collector's choice. Yeah, I'm a collector. You might not have noticed. I am a collector. That's quite weird. So this is the Cat Tarot, or that's how it's spelled. C-A-T-T. Weird. I've never come across that one before, and I know most tarot decks that are out on the market. I have never seen that one. I'm not sure about it either. I don't know. What's it called? Amorphomise. I've never been a fan, to be fair. Okay, comparative tarot deck. Okay, so there is actually a comparative tarot deck. Didn't know that either. 2002. Each card in this deck depicts images from 4 different decks. Okay. The decks it uses: Universal Tarot, we've had that one. The Tarot of the Sphinx, also known as Nefertari's. the Tarot of Marseille and the Tarot of the Origins. Yeah, I did not know that. It's an actual tarot deck that's got comparative cards. There we go. So the carding details, the 9 of Pentacles, essential meanings, and then a tagline and some keywords and the symbols. And then we've got the different decks. So we've got the Worth, Tarot of the Angels, which we've already had, and then the Klimt. And we've got Nefertiti, Pagan, No Scarabeo, the After Tarot, John Bauer, Dark Grimoire, Shaman or Shaman, and then the Fae. So we've already had the After Tarot, the John Bauer Tarot. We're getting the Shaman in 1661, like I said before, and then the Pagan in 54 and 55. Doesn't say about the others. And then we've got a breakdown of that spread from the last issue with an example of that spread, cards that was drawn there, and then breaking it all down and bringing it together, synthesising it. Do that in every issue, which is brilliant. Exercise, different interpretations of a position. Okay, so that's a bit different. Okay, so we're taking the obstacle card, which was the second card, which was the obstacle, modifying that to slightly alter the meaning given to a position. Each additional nuance adopted leads in a different direction, may give the querent an alternative answer. Okay, so the obstacle is a barrier, as a threshold, as a necessity, as a choice, as an adjustment, or an alteration of perception. So it's looking at this, the tarot spread itself as a new vision. Tarot techniques, magic. Oh gosh, yes, the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. Is that not beautiful? I really am getting on well with that deck. The two decks I'm sort of studying at the moment are the Tarot of the New Vision and the Silver Witchcraft. Those are the two, my two go-to as I speak, because they are really interesting decks. So this is how to work magically with the deck. So law of attraction, goals and objectives, manifestation, vision boarding, goal setting. So using the cards in that way. Oh, and then we're back to Eliphas Levi, the second in the article, the second article in the world of tarot on Eliphas Levi and his influence. Nice images there. And we've got a visual reference to the Minor Arcana. Practice makes perfect, so where to go in the magazine. And then we will be having in our next mailing the Manga Tarot. Yeah, I got this one as well. In fact, I've got this as a kit version as well. It's amazing the number of decks that they're actually providing us with that I've already got. So is that a good thing? I think it is, because I've got a backup if any of the cards get damaged. So there's that. Anyway, so we'll have the major and the minors in the next mailing for the Manga Tarot. And then we'll get obviously the top box. We've got the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands from the Art Nouveau Tarot coming. And then the articles, comparative readings. The carding details, obviously the Ten of Pentacles and then the Page of Pentacles. And then the articles about magic and manifestation. So that's leading on from what we already had in this one, isn't it? We've got a little peek of some of the cards from the Manga Tarot. Very nice. An extra long video. My Total Tarot magazines videos are usually not this long, but because we had not only the Tarot of the New Vision, but also we had the Starman Tarot, or some of us did. Obviously that's only if you plunk for the enhanced version of the magazine. I did not go for the crystal part of the magazine because I am, and have been for many years, a crystal therapist, and therefore I have so many crystals I really don't need to collect any. So that's why. But apart from that, yes, we should be getting the tuck box for the Starman Tarot. We've already had the bag. I can't remember what issue we had that in, but we already had the bag for the Starman Tarot. Safely in a drawer. It is. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think you would invest in the kit version of some of these decks? I know, to my mind, I don't think all of the decks, not all of the decks have a kit version, to be fair. They're not all of them, that's a bit damaged. Front's coming off that. Yeah, not all of them have a kit version, so there's that. But maybe just the ones that you really feel drawn to are the ones that you might invest in the kit version. Like, well, I already had them, so it wasn't a question of that for me, but yeah. Anyway, that's my little discovery and walkthrough and investigation into this mailing this month that's come quite close to the last one. As I said, I think there was a bit of a problem with the post with the last mailing, which is why this one's come pretty quick. So, I hope you enjoyed that, and until the next video, I'll see you soon. Bye friends, bye.